of the Chen or even the Enchantress. I don't know if you really want to risk that coming into the second phase, but Team Empire is showing a different hand here with an early Ogre Magi. Magnus is already banned. We're not going to be getting any sort of Bloodlust and Empower shenanigans, but empowered heroes on their own can still be pretty strong. Or rather, Bloodlusted heroes, that is.
Oh yeah, they definitely can. You know, we used to see the strength of the sniper with Bloodlust on him, and that was annoying. Even heroes are just, you know, like TA, who have natural damage sources. The Bloodlust on them can be very scary to face up against. And yeah, speaking of sniper, I wonder if they do just ban sniper TA at this point.
Yeah, there goes the Chen too. So kind of understandable. I think TA would be. I'm a little surprised. Left in. I mean, that seems pretty strong for Empire. See it, yeah, just oh man, come on guys. We're not gonna get any love here. So as expected, they'll be removed. I mean, they didn't take a hero that really counters them either with the Ogre Magi, so it's kind of assumed that they were not going to be looking to deal with any sort of that early aggression from neutrals.
10 seconds.
Who no longer play neutral.
Just banning Lil, I guess. Wisp, Chen, Enchantress, take them all out. TB instead of TA, I guess, is more of a tempo thing. You know, with Shadowfiend and Rubik, you want a bit of time to get your farm up and running, and Terrorblade with Bloodlust can just, you know, he mauls through towers so quickly that it can be difficult at times to really know what to do up against him. And VP just feeling they'd rather remove him from the hero pool altogether.
They played some core Veno. Now, I know Ramsey's played it one game. That was with a Shadow Fiend, right? At Kiev, and then they played it again from the mid-roll as well. And I'm wondering if VP are going to think about that, because I feel like a TA has got to be coming here. Or at least they're 100% ready for it. Like, she's in the pool. Oh my god. That was bad. It's a disaster. Lich!
I don't mind that being in-game, but during the draft, it's a little bit annoying.
10 seconds remaining.
Just a little bit. So with denies being changed now, giving you experience, Lich's sacrifice, do they count as denies or not? Because I remember, like, at one point they did, then they didn't, then they did, then they didn't, or something like that.
I don't think they do. I'm like 90% sure they don't.
Okay, so you don't get the sacrifice, whatever percent XP.
Yeah, that shouldn't be added on, because it's not actually a deny.
Okay.
But good thinking.
I was just wondering if that's where VP were, you know, moving towards, but I guess Lich is decent against, like, Lich is good against Ogre Magi because Frost Armor is good against Bloodlust, if that makes sense.
Yep.
You know, Frost Armor is good against the attack speed. It's kind of negating what Ogre is picked for. Nice little kind of counter interaction there by VP.
Lane control in general is also just better now because, again, denies. So the more that you're controlling the lane for your core, the more denies he's going to get, the more experience he's going to get.
If there are 5 creeps spawning mid,
yep,
you remove 1. There are then 4 creeps spawning mid. That's
you're
one
sending
less.
The enemy mid back to 7.0.
You take them. Yeah, exactly. You're like, you are not allowed to play on this patch. We're going to revert this by picking one hero.
10 seconds remaining.
Well, we will be getting ourselves another disruptor. Not too shocking. Don't want to reveal their core quite yet. Want to see a little bit more of what VP have to throw at them. And it's going to be an old classic. The Omni Knight Shadow Fiend. Gotta say, that's some dirty ass filth. I mean, Lich, Frost Armor, Omni Knight. God.
Oh boy, oh boy. I mean, Team Empire go with a disruptor for the catch, but catching someone that has a repel thrown onto them is nigh on impossible. So VP, their final hero, looks like it's going to be the one role for Ramses, as they have their Pasha offlane Omni. Empire still missing both of their real core heroes, the mid and the safe lane, while Storm is picked up, realizing that there is a severe lack of lockdown from VP, Rubik being the only, well, the only stun they've got. You know, there's Chain Frost to cancel TPs, but Telekinesis is the only real team fight control.
And they had the 4-5 pick too, so it's fine to take your mid now, right? If you're worried about being banned. And do you know what VP have banned? In like their last 7 games, and again, this was against OG, I suppose, but still, they were banning Storm Spirit last phase every single game. So if you wanted that hero, and we've seen that too, just in Mr. Cat, a lot of teams last banning Storm. You don't want to be 5th picked Storm, which is what happened with our Storm Spirit yesterday, right? We had that Drow draft that came out with Storm Spirit. Yeah.
The mid one Storm.
Secret ran him over, so.
It was very, very big. Final ban out from VP. Anti-mage, okay, against the Storm Spirit, fair enough. And then they pick up a Chappie Razor.
Team pick.
Okay.
I've not been a fan of this hero in the past month or so, and it has been picked up a fair amount by Chappie, by Era, by a few of these, sort of tier 2 European or CIS teams trying to find a
Something was
place.
going on in the scrims, 100%. Because one day we just came back and everyone was picking Razor, just like non-stop. Like, all right,
It was literally like one weekend, everything's normal and fine, and everyone's happy. Then the Monday comes along, and it's like four matches with Razor in them for no reason.
Yep. So now we can go for like a riskier hero in terms of like a Slark is still kind of okay. The only problem is then they're still not adding any more lockdown. And right now they have telekinesis. So you're kind of thinking it would be a little bit nice to have someone that either builds control with like a basher, or just straight up control through a spell. But of course that's also pretty difficult to get out of your one roll these days. Oh, yo! Position 1 slider? Are we back? Are we in? We're in. That's a Ramsey slider. Well, that's control for you. Oh, let's go. Damn.
Are you okay, buddy?
Yeah, man, how often do we get this guy? It's like never.
Are you okay, buddy?
Oh, I'm always okay if there's a position 1 slider. Let's go.
Do you want to go and change your underwear, Trent?
But this is what you're talking about, right? I mean, you can't get position 1 heroes with control. There's like Sven, and everyone hates him. And I don't really want to be Sven versus this Razor. He's going to unless I burst him down fast enough, he's going to be kiting me around. But my slider, I'm not going to get kited. I'm slithering around like a badass.
I've got Repel.
Good.
Look, I'll think of that. The Blink into Purification Bomb. Blink Crush Purification. Oh, that's sick. Then you've got Chain Frost.
Minus armor synergy, Roche control coming out from VP.
The big question always around a one-roll Slardar, though,
5
is
seconds remaining.
gaining items and keeping your farm and GPM running at a decent rate. Do we see the Midas Slardar come back? Is it going to be the classic Armlet Rush with the brown boots? Do we go for the Blink Dagger first? There are options there.
Yeah,
but
I'm picturing Armlet, but you might be right with the Midas.
Yeah, I feel like Midas might be the way to go against Razor
because he needs
Spirit.
a BKB this game.
He sure does.
So that kind of makes you start thinking about all these other items you need. You need a Blink Dagger, you need a BKB, you kind of need an Armlet. It's pretty strong this game, other than the Static Storm.
Oh yeah, someone's right in chat. Electric team, Storm, Razor, and Disruptor.
Oh, and they even have that. Oh well, we'll have to see.
And Clockwork. Clockwork Cogs are electric as well. So they've got 4 electric heroes.
Wow. If only they had that Ogre Immortal where it has like the spinning machine on his back, the carnival game. That's kind of electric. Actually, in fact, I think it might be distinctly mechanical, but we'll see.
Good stuff.
Oh, old man Haas in the chat.
What's he saying? Haven's held the buff is amazing for... Yeah.
It's amazing for everyone, but you're right. I mean, that's a classic item in terms of, this guy loves his Sanges and whatnot, so anything that comes out of a Sange makes Razor a happy hero.
That's true. It's decent against Razor as well, I guess.
Not nearly enough emotes being spammed right now by these teams. A little disappointed.
Very, very sad. Naboshka scouted. I wonder if they will realize where he's placed that Observer Ward, because he placed it and then went deep to try and kind of give away his position. Maybe a bit obvious there from Eposhka, but VP, no sentries on them. No sentries on anyone. So Lil has a Null Talisman at level 1 on the Rubik.
I mean, just standard little stuff.
What hero was it? It was Skyreth Mage that used to do this a lot, right?
Bane. Witch Doctors did it for a while.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, these funny teams. Good guys. So Ghost Stick boots first. No. Stout Shield first on the offlane Clockwork. It was the Ogre with the boots. FN move himself over to the Bounty Rune. No Fairy Fire. The three branches, which I feel like we're seeing more and more often on mid heroes now instead of the Fairy Fire.
Can't focus at all here.
It's so good. Yeah, Miposhka. Fuck it, whatever. There are heroes on the map. They're going to their lanes.
Enjoy the noises.
Thank you for the applause. Thank you for the applause, Pasha. I appreciate it. I do appreciate it. Makes my enjoyment of this so much greater.
Oh wait! Oh, what happened to the patch? Oh, where'd my creep go?
Oh, wait a second.
This Lich guy.
Oh, the new patch is out and there's a dual lane mid. Oh.
Yeah,
No one
It's gonna
gets
be
in
very
there.
common, it seems.
Wait, hang on a second. Clockwork has 4 denies. Hello?
Was he just cogging? Oh, he was doing his just cog shit. I'm
Oh,
sure.
okay.
Like on the way up on the lane.
Oh, yeah, sure enough.
Dude, you just you pad your stats even if the cogs or the creeps won't pass back that way.
I was wondering how the hell he got so many. This damage might be enough, though. He tangos up a tree, but with the damage coming out, the body blocks from Ramses, Lil with this null talisman. Look at the damage, the final swipe. Ramses gets the first blood while mid lane the battle continues. Solo and no one against FN and Miposhka. The bloodlust onto the Storm Spirit comes through and they're forcing them to last it under tower now. This is a little bit worrisome for VP. So they're shoved in, Miposhka up on the front lines with this big old bruising ogre getting in behind the tier 1, but they are doing decently there. 6-0 against 5-2 of the Storm and the Shadow Fiend. But how's the bot lane going? Honestly, I want to look at bot lane, but I also don't want to stop looking mid because this is and maybe this is a good reason not to look down a bottom lane because FN is dead. No one gets the double raises out with the right clicks and the frost blast from Solo's Lich. Perfect combination of spells there. Pasha, he's having a glorious time on bot lane.
And that's the thing about Lich, like, not a hero we get to see too often, but it's not just a sacrifice that's amazing. Look at level 1 of Frost Blast when you have someone like Shadow Fiend. I mean, that's a 4-second slow that is maximum slow right at level 1. It's, you know, the damage scales, and the area damage scales, but it doesn't matter in this kind of situation. It's just this helpless penguin that's waddling around that is Storm Spirit. You slow him, and he just kind of, and he just dies to your Shadow Fiend, so very effective in what I'm sure will be a pretty long era of dual lane mids. At least that's what it feels like.
Are they wrapping around in onto Ghost Stick? No, Lil is just collecting bounty runes. Has enough money for his brown boots now as well. Considering going in. Ghost Stick is quite tanky though, close to 800 HP. Tank going up as well, and Lil, yeah, he'll take the long path around. Mid lane, the TP comes in from Solo. Clarity's up no one, who went boots first on this mid lane matchup. Yet to get his bottle, a little distant. From that, this Ghost Stick chased again back away from his lane. Burning through the salve and a lot of regen here already, but VP, they seem to be off to a really, really great start.
Yeah, speaking of bottles, whatnot, we've talked a little bit lately about Shadow Fiend's ditching bottle. They're just like buying all these clarities and stuff, especially when you have a CM on your team. And just thinking about CM now and all the camps being back in the minutes, that hero seems like she's also going to be very strong. It's like giving yourself that mana to go through that clearing motion. But top lane again, I think Ghost Stick should be okay here. He's trying to trade back.
Ramses has another crush.
It's so long. Oh.
That
was a lot of respect given. I'm surprised he didn't dive that.
Ramses finally gets through his salve, and he's going for the Hand of Midas. Brown boots into Midas.
Playing it safe, he's just like, you know, I don't want to die here. This is a lot of creeps. You have to leave the lane. I know your shrine's not up.
How long?
Suck it off, laners.
Another minute.
Yeah. 5-minute mark, man. Until these things come up.
That is very annoying. Pasha did manage to TP away from Chappie, who threw the static link down onto him. Now, this is some lane where they can't really kill the Omni at all. Pasha just walks into lane, he's like, okay, I've got Purification and Repel. I'm going to heal myself, I'm going to Repel and TP. Your static link is going to do damage to me, but you're very, very unlikely to actually finish me off.
Look at no one.
This is why like King R is rotating in towards mid lane. Okay, he wants to leech experience. Help out the Storm. Top lane. Good telekinesis. Lil sends back Ghost Stick. He's having difficulties though. I think he wants to try and tangle himself through the trees. He's going to get pushed back and finished off by the Clockwork regardless.
So they're bringing the Ogre up top now, but the Storm's day is just done, you know. He's got, I think he has some stacks going thanks to the whole minute thing and whatnot, so it's a little bit easier, but they have the vision here. This will be blocked off now, so it's not going to come back at the 5. And pretty unlikely it gets dewarded even before the 6-minute mark. So they're throwing FN to the Wolves, and I think no one's almost 6.
Trying to go onto Ghost Stick again with the Lich here, Frost blasting it forward. Ghost Stick is slowed and the body blocks look okay, not enough. Right click damage.
Come on, no talisman.
Yeah, it was a lot of damage, but not quite the amount they needed to tick over the Clockwork into death. Now you've got King R leeching experience mid while the Storm Spirit's farming in the jungle, like you were saying, kind of relegated to jungle camps now, FN. This is still a good way to get golden experience.
To the Wolves.
How old are you, by the way?
Yeah, I don't know. You don't want to know. Maybe 12. Who knows? They finally used that shrine, though. So Miposhka gets the mana back for his own general harass. But no one is just... He's living the life, dude. We haven't talked much about Omni. As you said, Napasha just, like, he's TP'd away once. Kind of ditched the lane. He was fine, but... No real concern of dying down here, but certainly not like a Kezu Omni or anything like that, where he was just given this free lane or something. You know, Razor, a much more difficult matchup. Better, I think it was either a life... Oh, it was a Jug that Kezu got to lane against.
Yeah.
You know, you'd rather have that than this Razor who just runs at you and you don't really have any options to deal with him.
Well, that's the thing. Like, Omni is under no real threat of dying. He's got decent CS. His levels are going okay. Net worth 1800 is not amazing by any means, but it's reasonably good. The question always is, though, you know, Chappie has been given a relatively simple lane, hasn't been under any pressure at all.
There's no pulls, though.
This Lightning Revenant, what does he do? Because he's not the best tower, but he's actually probably one of the worst tower pushers. The only thing he has is a Ring of Aqua to try and help him out shove this tower with the catapult wave. Has to rely on his creeps to do a lot of the damage.
Hey, man, he's got level 4 plasma field.
Oh, mid lane, no one. Hello, 3 heroes here. Purification Repel come out and no one turns to fight. With a double raise out, Ghost stick one more punch and down he goes. Clockwork is gone. Good rotation from Pasha, and Lil is here as well to try and battle this out if Empire feel they want to
What a time to have an arcade rune.
Dire's bottom tower is
on the SF, yeah, you're right. Good stuff.
Very handy, and now Omni comes in, gives you a heal.
Oh, they have the telekinesis. Double raise. Oh, he zaps away. FN, very fortunate to be retreating with his life.
Dude, look at his buff bar right now. He's got some null field going on, a little bit of help from a Lich. This is nice.
You can do that compendium quest. What is it that you have to do?
Yeah, that's right. 12.
12? That's insane.
Yeah. We had to buy a bunch of helms and get neutral creeps to make it work.
Oh yeah? Is that the only way?
That's the strat.
Maybe Ramses will pay for VP's insolence, but no. Able to slither back far enough away from the clockwork. Still working on the Hand of Midas. 100 gold, or actually 200 gold away now. I've got to get that into my head because it's 1650 for the recipe.
Yeah. He has definitely garnered quite a bit of the attention of the Radiant, namely the Ogre Magi Miposhka. Ditching mid, just seeing that wasn't going to be a victorious lane or anything that he can have a significant impact on. So, I mean, he's opened like what, a basically 700 gold lead essentially for the Razor over the Slardar. So that's pretty good on a hero that, again, we know needs a lot of items. Wants the Blink, wants the BKB. Probably would have liked an Armlet. Not sure how he'll be able to work it in, depending on his timings.
No one is still doing exceptionally well, though. You know, the star player really of Virtus Pro from the mid lane. Yeah, 4250 in the net worth, level 8, nearly level 9 actually. 8.5 minutes in, even with a dual lane mid. I guess the Lich experience with denying creeps does help out. Top lane, again in onto Ghost Stick, this time with the app damage. We'll be able to secure through the minus armor a kill, which they've been really desperately needing up on this top lane to get that Slardar into a position where, you know, he is contesting the net worth of the Storm and the Razor. And you look at the Storm with such a trash lane, with the fact he had to go back into the jungle. Honestly, it's quite a surprise that he's still third in the net worth. All of that safe farming has paid off dividends for FN.
Yeah, it's a blast from the past. It's minute spawn camps for a jungler that does it very, very quickly. I mean, Mason used to play this NEL Storm Spirit all the time, I remember. Where, you know, their draft goes to shit, they just 5th pick this jungle Storm, and honestly, it worked pretty well, because the guy, he can kill some neutrals pretty quick. Not as fast as he used to be able to, of course, before these cloak ores and whatnot, but still a hero that's very good at retreating there.
Or when he used to be able to smoke and do it as well, like Puppy used to with the Darkseer and Storm. The Puppy Jungle Storm. Oh, it takes me back. When was that? Was that TI4 era?
Something like that.
It was like 3 years ago. It was a long time ago. Pasha going in for a kill onto Miposhka with a Purification and a punch. Oh dear, he TP's away, but the final crack of the whip and Chappie gets the killing blow there. Pasha a little bit too big for his boots, trying to kill an ogre. It's incredibly tanky.
You don't go on the ogre, man. Come on. Anyone but the ogre. 8 armor. It's kind of good. 19.3 HP regen when his tranquils aren't broken from an Omni Knight running at him. So, hey, he'll just waltz on in with a convenient. This is the support money gaining ward right here. You always see when the rune's up, so you can come and steal it. Safety first. And Miposhka's basically back up to full HP. Come over and give it a little bloodlust over to Chappie. Here you go, my friend. What a hero. It really is the battle of the buffs this game.
How many Hands of Midas are we going to see, Trent? There's one on Slardar. Omni Knight has one queued up as well.
That makes sense.
Lich might buy one. Rubik.
You think?
Probably one. I don't know. Lich is one of those weird heroes, right? Where his kind of... He doesn't have an item set. He is able to, through his skill diversity, purchase any item he wants to. And I feel like, similar to Phoenix, going for like a Hand of Midas into, you know, Shiva's Guard or something big like a Scythe of Vice is incredibly good. But maybe they'll feel they need something like a mech or something like that from Star Wars.
Top lane, first gank from FN. Oh, he's gone though. Oh, but he's under ward.
Oh, he's going to go back and farm his camp.
He's
Oh, no, yes, no. FN jumps forward, glimpse as well into the Static Storm.
That's stun lasted.
This guy is tanky though. This guy's tanky. No crush available. 6 stick charges, 7 stick charges. Going to pop them but still die. In the meantime, VP, they ran down to bottom lane looking for Chappie, but he was able to move himself up the top. Well, this gank was all taking place.
There was even a TP on Pasha. That probably could have been a save if he went. I mean, you don't really expect it though, because if it's execute, like if he doesn't get that crush off, there's no way he lives, you know. And that took away a lot of the damage that FN had to burst. So it's understandable that Pasha didn't make the rotation.
This is the worst mid matchup I've ever seen, Trent. Lich against Ogre 1v1.
End. Dota's dead. It's over, guys. Hop on another game right now.
Thinking about killing myself right now. I just don't want to see this. I'm trying to get some experience, of course. Not really battling it out or anything. So Ramsey's up on top lane. Blink Dagger's queued up, but Hookshot flies in from Ghost Stick with a Purification and a Repel back onto Ramsey's. All of his damage is being drained. 131 gone, and he's got nothing left to give with the glimpse back. No one. Is that him being sent? No, it's someone else. Ghost Stick's now inside the safe zone.
FN. Oh, any free heroes here? That stolen Eye of the Storm is actually maybe a little bit too much. The heals from Pasha. I don't think FN can pick this, but now who can come in and help? They have Stackstorm back up and King R's nearby.
He's thinking about
Eeny,
it.
meeny, miny, mo.
They go for all of them at the same time. Well, Lil's going to be the one to fall the first, and now Pasha caught inside the storm still with the damage output good enough. FN finds 2 with the help of King R. Now with no one trapped inside the cogs. This is VP crumbling as Empire set up beautifully with the invades of Storm Spirit right on top.
Just had to be the Omni. You know, that was the key thing there, right? Make sure he's inside. Hopefully 1+ Omni would be great, but now Miposhka looks like he'll also fall here. He runs into the enemy territory, so they'll get one back, but obviously not of much consequence for the Radiant here. Big gains for the Radiant, and most importantly, they're coming on a Storm Spirit who's looking to go Bloodstone.
Dire's top tower.
And it's 14 minutes in with Ramsey's going his Hand of Midas. You know, it's going to allow him to
Dire's top tower has fallen.
gain gold at a decent rate, but he needs the Blink Dagger. Like you said, he needs the BKB later on. Things have been slow going, and Slardar often seen as that action hero that starts brawling and fighting much earlier on with, you know, a fast Blink Dagger able to jump into fights and start things off for your team. And things have kind of stalled here for VP. No one, still going to go for the Dragonlance BKB build.
What I would say is that they are going to have a lot of damage pretty soon. I mean, even now they kind of have that damage, right? Like Purify and a Blink Crush. When this Blink does come up, like let's say the Bloodstone's done at that point, and they just kill FN, he could realistically just die, you know? And then these Bloodstone charges start going away, and we have all these buffs on top of no one, so I'm certainly not feeling anything too strong for Empire quite yet. They definitely need to get some pressure going from the Radiant side, get some of these towers knocked down, and increase this vision. So far, so good. You know, they're trying to give those avenues for the Storm Spirit to succeed, but that largely ends up coming down to Roche. And they don't, you know, they don't have the best roasting lineup, honestly.
Illusion.
I guess it does come down to that kind of timing. VP, this is the awkward thing that I feel, though. You know, it's the fact that they've got this Midas on Omni being queued up as well. Because Shadow Fiend is going for Dragonlance BKB, which is a very 5-man heavy. We group up, we take fights, we look for kills, we play active as soon as we get this. Omni, I guess Omni's okay just casting his spells and being fine with that, and Midas will allow him to 5-man and, you know, farm, get gold while you're doing so. It's a little bit of a poke and a prod.
Scout them out.
Ghost Stick went in on the Shadow Fiend for a little bit as well.
I don't see the aggression from the Radiant. I don't really see how they want to fight in the next 10 minutes, honestly. Like, what do they do? Like, if Clockwork hooks in, are they just hoping that no one else is there and Razor runs in? Like, I'm not, to be honest, really feeling it from the Radiant so much. Now, there is pressure coming from the Dire. As you said, no one's got these items that kind of beg for this, so maybe this will be enough that Clock can start something big off for them. But just remember how easily that other fight was set up thanks to the Invis Rune. This one, not so much, and FN's still rushing back to base trying to get mana.
Yeah, and you've always got to remember the main strength of the Storm Spirit is against, split pushers or solo targets being able to zap across half the map and find them. Of course, you can go into the backlines and look for targets within team fights. But if you group up as 5 against the Storm, similar to, playing against the Clinks and all of these kind of hunt and kill heroes, it does diminish their potency quite significantly.
And look at Ramsey's out of vision, too. Never showing with his Blink Dagger yet. Just waiting. Wants him to try and go on one of these supports.
Watching, waiting.
Later. Alright. Mapushka's out of there. And TP's on cooldown for 55 seconds on Storm Spirit. He is not coming top. He's just trying to rat. And they're going to lose both towers on this lane. And Ghost Stick just... hopefully they don't scan.
I really like this, being able to see teams timing Glyph. And, timing Roshan has been a thing people do for a long time. But even yesterday, seeing people time buybacks and big ultis, just... clarifying and kind of coming to the realization that it does happen consistently.
Yeah, it keeps it keeps it on your mind too as a caster, as a spectator too. You're just watching this little thing go down and you're like, oh yeah, that was Glyph. So now, like, how are they going to time the next push because of that?
Like,
likewise. Remember
back to No Tidehunter days, where people were talking about Eternal Envy being
stopwatch.
But he was being one of the first people that did this. Yeah. Like, this is
kind of mocked for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Top lane.
Found the catch. It's a big kill. It's a Ghost Stick Clockwork. That's decent. Ulti thrown out from solo to make sure that the damage is done. And Ramses with his Blink Dagger does get into the thick of the action. And now he's queuing up that armor as well. More mid-game fighting power from them as they want to hit, again, this timing where they'll have Hurricane Pipe BKB on the Shadow Fiend. Midas is nearly done for Pasha, just in case the mid-game goes poorly and they need to secure something else in the late game. But speaking of items being acquired, Storm, Bloodstone, and Razor with the S and Y. This is kind of Empire's peak. This is one of their strongest moments. The trouble is they don't get to Roshan in time. Like I said, those items, they make their heroes stronger, but I don't feel like they're team fight winning or game winning items, as no one's going to BKB and run away. Static Storm, not going to get thrown out or anything just yet. King R's holding onto it. Ramsey jumps in and tries to sprint out, but look at this Storm. The hook shot's there. Repel purification, but the Static Storm's dropped. The Lich is in the back end. He's not going to be able to do anything, and VP loses 2 heroes off the bat with Eclipse turning into 3. Team Empire. Clockwork is missing.
That could have been worse. Ghost Stick tried to hook Shadow Fiend and he actually hit the invisible Lich, I believe. Unless maybe he was in... it was hard to tell if he was doing that intentionally because this saw him coming out of the sentry, but I think that's what just happened. Either way, all that matters is they dodged the Aegis and they just run them over. So that was the fight they needed. Yes, they didn't get to the Roche Pit in time, but at least they were there to follow up while some of the heroes were weak. Clutch stuff, and that's 15 Bloodstone charges. That's the crazy thing about Bloodstone. You lose that fight, the game can honestly just be over, but if you win that fight, like the acceleration of the Storm Spirit with this bonus mana regen.
Well, I just had hook shot. I don't know where the hook shot...
and a glimpse back onto Shadow Fiend, who got sent back bottom.
Cool. Maposhka TP's away. Lil has Bloodlust level 4. Oh, yeah.
The best part about that Best of 5 series the other night with NP and DC is that Owie actually got to level 25 on Ogre. That was great. Plus 40 bloodless attack speed.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
First time I'd ever seen that one.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a... I never even knew that talent existed. I don't think I've seen an Ogre at level 25. No one's going to get found by Maposhka. There's a TP coming in from the Razor. Very quick on his feet as the Recto's wound up and Chappie slowed a little bit and debuffed, but Lil should be the sacrifice here as it's a 2-0. Again, Empire racking up the kills. They're hunting for no one, but he's sprinting himself away. He'll find an avenue to the north to get out as well. But this Aegis from VP is meant to enable them to 5-man and push into tier 2s, get more objectives. But again, it's this kind of disconnect between the Hands of Midas and the Shadow Fiend's build. Ramsey still feels like he needs to farm. He needs a BKB after armor. Omni still needs to get himself up and running with, you know, a full staff, an Arcane's mech.
Honestly, the way I look at this game, if I had the replay like functions right now, I would just be replaying that mid fight over and over because it's so game defining. And the way that they took it too, were like, Shafi's just like walking over here with the agents. Like they kind of wanted to fight, and then they were thinking like, oh, we're not like all together. Because when they're 5, they're super strong. Like what if they just retreated up to this high ground? There's no fight. Empire doesn't chase up that high ground. There's Requiem, there's Guardian Angel, there's all these spells and skills, but instead, it's this weird disconnected engagement that lasts from the Radiant side into the Dire tier 1, but you've already seen the Crush used. Once Ramses blinks and crushes one hero, you're gonna run at them. Because like, what do they have left at that point, you know? There's no cogs or terrain changing abilities coming out from VP. Yeah, one guy's gonna get tossed or something by Rubik, right? But it just became this simple march because VP like almost led them with a trail of breadcrumbs. Just maybe not considering the actual strength of the Radiant and how easy it would have been just to retreat up this hill.
Yeah, I think Ramses dying there was a big factor. He jumped in to save no one, then didn't have the ability to actually get out of the fight.
Like no force staffs or anything.
The damage is too big. They do have one now on the Shadow Fiend. The Hurricane Pike is complete, and Omni was starting to buy one, but he's changed over. Yes, he's changed over to the Greaves, it looks like, for Pasha.
Maybe worried about the eventual Orchid that'll be coming out here. He'll be targeted every single time by FN, so probably feeling like he doesn't have a choice in the matter.
Should be a simple tier 2 trade-off. Top and bot being mirrored here by either team.
They have regrouped now, of course. They are that 5-man unit. They still have a 1k lead. They still have the Aegis for a little bit to perform this trade safely, but of course with Aegis, you're not exactly looking for trades. And you start thinking about maybe coming to contest this. You know there's a disruptor who's hiding away somewhere on the map looking to glimpse people back. And so Ramses will start the defense from the base. Oh, they have to be careful here.
TPing en masse to the tier 2 as Ramses was getting into position, looking for the retreating heroes, but will not find anyone at all. Chappie has a BKB done now. This Razor is starting to get relatively scary. There's like one instant initiation tool that VP has, and it's the telekinesis from Rubik. If they can chain that up with a Blink Crush, then sure, they can kill the Razor. Otherwise, Razor has so many teammates and abilities behind him to allow him to have this kind of free-flowing fight where he can steal damage, run back and forth. Ramses' invis does see Chappie though. And they're all converging in onto his position. Oh, he's moved down. He's moved down. The Blink Crush is there. No one runs straight on him. Purification BKB. Now Lockshot comes through with the cogs down as well. Pasha caught in a static storm with Ramses as well. The Omni Knight's blown up, and in comes the Storm Spirit. The Requiem wound up as well, but this is just not enough damage. They are trying to kill off Ghost Stick, but it's barely going to tickle him. King R will finally fall to the Shadow Fiend of no one, or Willie. The kinetic fields drop. One more punch. Finally gets it down.
Ramses.
But 2 for 2. VP.
Oh, Ramses is trying to toggle him. Poshka's faking the right clicks on Ogre and then gets him mid-toggle. That was so good.
I think the Lich is going to die as well. Ogre on the runaway. No one, no Aegis, no Hurricane Pike. Lil gonna try and get his teammate out of here. He's got to give himself for this. He's got to run back in. Okay, he's going to allow no one to die. No, he's going back. Telekinesis up and down. No one's still alive. Static Link for 20 seconds, but no one still had all of his HP taken out by the Storm Spirit. That this FN guy, 20 charges up now.
Oh, Gareth the Oracle there. They go on Chappie and, well, what happens? They don't have enough consistent lockdown, and he just barely lives, and once that BKB's turned on, reinforcements coming in not too hot. You know, Lil, of course, being a Rubik, where you're on the back in terms of priority of farm, not quite as rich as a Rubik likes to be, doesn't have that mobility, and can't make his way to follow up there with a telekinesis and perhaps just win that fight outright. Felt like a maybe a pressured play, just trying to do something off the back of that Invis rune. And it's this combination, again, that we saw from VP last game, right? Disruptor, Clockwork. Crazy range, unbelievable reach for continuing team fights, giving chase, vision from the flare, helping out with the glimpses. There's just all kinds of synergy, cogs and static storm. You can pretty much just keep counting them. And now using it against VP very successfully. It's basically the same as like our Centaur and the Disruptor, that is, but... Yeah. Expect much Clockwork and much Disruptor in your futures. These heroes have been proving themselves. I mean, Disruptor's always a hero that just like wins a bunch of games, and everyone's picking him, then they forget about him, and then he just comes back again, you know? But CIS never forgets. They always pick this hero.
He is definitely one of their favorites. It just extends fights, turns a pick into a, an actual skirmish, into a big team fight, and starts snowballing things from there. And Empire have whittled down the VP lead. It's close to absolutely nothing in terms of net worth. Slardar is falling behind.
See how patient Empire are willing to be here.
Ramsey's not even hitting 10k. Sprinting forward and looking for someone to kill though. Lil. It's the ball lightning. Finds the clockwork and the requiem from no one. Goes stick hook shots forward, but still dropped by no one's raises. The trouble is Chappie is on the run, chasing down these heroes in hot pursuit as no one glimpses back into the static storm. Perfect play here by the GA, trying to save them up from Chappie's razor, but it's the magic damage from the FN! Where did he come from? Where did he go? FN is role-playing Cotton Eye Joe at this point. Just zips from halfway across the map, 0 mana remaining, but takes down the Shadow Fiend in one fell swoop, and Ramsey's armor toggles through, Chappie chasing down Bloodlust up on him, and with the Plasma Field, a triple kill. Goes to Chappie and goes sick. The crowd goes wild.
That was such a long range. He did 1,000. I mean, how long was he in that fight? He supposedly did 1,000 damage, but I would reckon a large proportion of that was from the actual ball of lightning. And speaking of damage, Chappie doing
6,000.
6k. Yeah, pretty good.
Insane. Plasma Fields on 5 heroes. Static Link stealing damage, but this guy is tanky, difficult to handle, and almost impossible to kill, I feel, at this point.
I mean, that was a fight that, it was Empire being pretty patient. Like, they could sense that there was this kind of group up of heroes, right? Gareth say no to anime, double damage rune here.
With Roshan alive.
Yeah.
Again.
I mean, say no to. That's your sponsor, is it?
Yeah, that's my sponsor, dude. Say
Are
no.
you the only other person in Dota who doesn't know anything about anime?
No, I know things about anime. I just think that you should
don't.
say no to it. Like, wait, have you watched any of the Studio Ghibli movies?
No.
Like Princess Mononoke or
Nope.
Spirited Away or anything like that? Okay.
I am a rural
like,
Nova Scotian white boy, buddy.
I suggest you watch some Ghibli movies because they are.
Say no to anime. Damn it. Listen to your own advice. Anyway.
I don't consider. I'm gonna cheat, and I don't consider them anime.
No, I've heard they're very lovely, and I'm sure they
are very
Sentries and Observer combo spotting out FN. Remember, there's no agency. This would be a massive pick for them, but oh, nope, later.
Wait, whoa, wait.
Oh!
Yes, Greaves. Ramses. Nearly had FN Storm Spirit under wraps there, running out of mana, but a final ball lightning gets him over the hill, far enough away from the Slardar. He's managed to get 10k net worth now. BKB is queued up. It's slow. It's a slow slog here for VP, it feels like. You know, they wanted to group up as 5. Their plan was to get BKB Dragonlance to move forward, get a blink on Slardar, start fighting. But every step of the way, Empire have put up a wall, that one fight, you know, mid lane, like you were saying, kind of game defining, big old swing back the way of Empire, not necessarily in net worth, but experience and items definitely. They feel like they've got the run of the map.
Doesn't it feel like it should be more of a lead, though? Like, if you didn't see that net worth bar, wouldn't you think it was like a little higher? I don't know, that's kind of how I feel. Like they just gained a 4k lead, and now it's already starting to droop back down to like 2k, you know?
That's just VP farming efficiently. The double Midas at work, dude.
Yeah, look at the total net worth. Like, if you bring up the actual net worth graph, and you see all the little green boxes, right, from kills and tower kills and all that stuff, look how many green ones there are for Empire, and how few and far between the red ones are, and yet this game's still so close.
Well, it's like, you know, team fight for Empire goes the way of Empire. Then there's no team fights, and it goes back down the way of VP, and then back up and down. And I think VP are just out farming. Outside of team fights, they're definitely outmaneuvering, except now when Roshan is taken. Is that just a farming ulti?
Yeah. That was a, oh god, they're coming ulti.
Okay.
Please leave me alone. So, as you're saying though, they are farming quite well, but the question is, will they be enough to stop Empire in their march of the actual high ground? Don't know. Is VP the Rebel Alliance? Can they do it?
Stupendous.
Find out next time on Say No to Anime. Bottom lane, there's a little bit of pressure. He's tickled his tier 3.
I have triggered several people.
Oh, did you do something?
Just to say no to anime. That whole topic, the whole conversation has ruffled some feathers, I think. Rustled some jimmies. Oh well. Assault cuirass for Chappie with a cheese behind him as well. And it's FN with a Shivers Guard. 200 gold or so until he has that one done. Wait, is this one of the compendium wards, Trent? The one with the fish?
Really?
Oh god. Zap in. Chappie's in the middle of 2 sets of cogs and no one's trapped inside of one of them. Lil's already dead and so is Solo. FN has to focus him down though. No one lets out the record, but he's gone. It's over. GG's cool.
Nice isolation.
They have no way to deal with a Razor.
No one was so well controlled this game too. Like that fight up top 2 where he's just like requieming a clockwork they used blade mill, you know? That was the only way to pick off the clockwork, and then the fight just runs right back over top of VP. So no matter how much farm they had going, couldn't quite get it. And I gotta say, kind of feels like it comes down to that Storm Spirit and thus the Slardar, right? Where like I'm pretty sure they felt some sort of a need to get some element of control coming up from their position 1 to try and catch the Storm Spirit, some sort of a solution for this guy where they could stop that snowball, melt that thing down. Did not come. Slardar, not the blowtorch that they needed.
Chappie Razor 10, 1, and 6.
Yes.
24,000 damage. Good stuff. I said during the draft that I don't like the hero in general, but in this game, with no way to kill him, sure.
Should talk about, and yes, I admit, the changes to Razor are very visible in this game, and you have not mentioned them once. I was told by old